Richard Rafe Champion de Crespigny, better known as Rafe de Crespigny, is an Australian sinologist and an adjunct professor in the College of Asia and the Pacific, Australian National University. He specialises in the history, geography and literature of the Han Dynasty and has been acknowledged internationally as a pioneer in the translation and historiography of material concerning the Han Dynasty and the Three Kingdoms period. Education. De Crespigny received his tertiary education at the University of Cambridge and the Australian National University. During his early years as a scholar and academic, he benefited from the guidance of Geoffrey Elton and sinologists such as Hans Bielenstein, Otto van der Sprenkel, Fang Chao-ying, Lu Tsun-yan and Goran Malmkvist, and he developed an interest in the late Han Dynasty through the historical novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms. The title of his doctoral dissertation in 1968 was The Development of the Chinese Empire in the South, a discussion of the origins of the state of Wu of the Three Kingdoms, and this provided the basis for much of his later work. Publications. Some of de Crespigny's other publications include China, the Land and Its People, China This Century, both discussions of modern China. However, undoubtedly, his most significant works are those in relation to politics in the late Han Dynasty. Among these are Northern Frontier, the policies and strategy of the later Han Empire, and To Establish Peace, a partial translation of Sima Guang's Siji Tongzhan. He has also written more than a dozen articles, published in such journals as Papers on Far Eastern History and Journal of the Oriental Society of Australia. The defining work of de Crespigny's career would have to be Generals of the South, which narrates the rise of the Sun clan and the formation of the Three Kingdoms tripartite. It builds on the broad range of his translation experience and is telling about his historical interests. Like Northern Frontier, the work focuses on the narrative of strategies, campaigns and personalities. The approach owes a great deal to the narrative tradition of the historical novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Generals of the South discusses the population and development of southern China from the 2nd century CE onwards, as well as the military defense of the South via the boundary of the Yangtze River. It contains the best discussion of the Battle of Red Cliffs and early Chinese riverine warfare available in English. The work also provides an important prelude to further research into the North-South division which occurred in the 5th century and the cultural divisions which endured long after that. Associations and appointments. De Crespigny is a Fellow of the Australian Academy of the Humanities. He is also a Fellow of the Oriental Society of Australasia and a member of the Australian Institute of International Affairs, the Asian Studies Association of Australia, the Historical Association, the Royal Geographical Society of Australasia, and the International Congress for Asian and North African Studies. Congress for Asian and North African Studies 1971, Secretary-General of the 28th Congress at Canberra, 1973, Member of Consultative and Executive Committees, 29th Congress at Paris 1975, Consultant to the 30th Congress at Mexico City, 1986, Member of the Executive Committee of the 32nd Congress at Hamburg, 1971–72, Visiting Fellow of Clare Hall, University of Cambridge, 1972 and 1984, Academic Exchange Visitor of the German Academic Exchange Service, 1978, Visiting Professor Asian Studies Program, University of Hawaii, 1978, Guest Professor, College of Chinese Culture, 1983–97, Honorary Treasurer, Australian Committee for the Cambridge Commonwealth Trust, 1986, Visiting Fellow, Institute of Sinology, Leiden University. 1991 to 2001, Master of University House, Australian National University. Retirement. In the late 2000s, de Crespigny completed his biographical dictionary of the later Han 23220 TAD, a continuation of Michael Lowe's biographical dictionary which deals with the Qin, a former Han, and Xin periods 221 BC to 24 AD. He is writing a chapter for a forthcoming volume in the Cambridge History of China series. Honours. De Crespigny was awarded a Centenary Medal in 2001 for services to Australian Society in Asian Studies.